And we can create 3 tables. Then we can find one problem, right? We know that the size or the number of rows in the departments table will always equals to the number of rows in the managers table, right? Because each department must have one manager, right? We know that this table size will only be decided by the department numbers, right? How many departments do we have for both the departments table as well as the managers table, right? Then we will have a problem, right? If let's assume if we have a company, this company has not so departments. Like this department table can be very big, right? The number of departments inside the company can be, for example, 100 billion, right? If so, we know that this a number of rows inside both departments and managers, they are equal to this 100 billion, right? However, for this department ID, we have to store the ID twice, the same ID twice, right? Even though we know that each row will correspond to each other, right? And we may wonder why we need to store this DID again, since we know that each department must have one manager. And we may also wonder whether we can combine these 2 tables together, right? And we can treat this SSN as well as SysState as some attributes for departments, describing its manager information. In this way, we don't need to store the DID twice, right? In two tables, and we can delete this column. Can we do this or not? In this way, it will allow us to save lots of space in storage, and also provides lots of convenience in data management. Actually, this is true, and this is what we should do for the translation of this one-to-many relationships as well as one-to-one relationships. So here, for this case, this managers is a one-to-many relationship, right? Given our department, we can always find one single employee who is the manager of the department. Therefore, this is a very conventional translation we showed before, right? For the many-to-many relationship translation. And for our new case, for the one-to-many relationship translation, we need to make some changes. We have to combine these 2 relations into one instead. How can we do the combination? So we can do the combination as shown here. Let me highlight this region first. We're going to combine them together. In this way, we can save lots of storage space, right? We don't need to store the DID lots of time. And we can let me change the color for it. And we can change the transparency like to 5 instead. And we'll try to combine these 2 relations into a new one instead. We can write down the new relation as shown here, right? We can denote this new relation as department manager, right? We combine them together into a new relation, combine departments as well as managers relationship into a new relation. It's called department manager, right? Inside the department manager, we want to remove this redundant DID, and we only store one single DID here. So we have a DID. I can copy this one, right? Department name and DID as well as budget information. We can copy them here. And besides this, we also have some information for the department managers, right? We can copy this SSN here, right? And we can also make some changes. We can say this is manager. Manager SSN, right? As well as the SysState. In this way, we're able to create a new relation by combining these 2 together, right? So we'll combine these managers with departments because we know that given a department, we can always find one single manager, right? Therefore, we can combine them together by treating this manager information in the managers table as attribute for departments, right? So if we create a new relation like this by combining them 2 together, and we will also be able to combine these 2 tables together, right? These two tables together. We can do the combination very easily. We can change the table name to the department manager information, right? we can delete this table. We can remove this column and also append this new column to the new department manager table, right? We can create 2 more columns. Let me create them. And we can also copy them into the 2 new columns as shown here. And we're going to make some changes to the SSN information here. It denotes the manager SSN, right? And in this way, we can create a new table for department manager. It combines the department table with the manager's table, right? This table compared with the previous 2 tables, it is more, small size because we can only store the DID only once, right? It is also easier to use because everything will be in one single table. In the next section, we will introduce some of these operators we can operate on these relations, like joins, which may require to calculate the product between 2 tables. It will be very expensive in time cost. And if we do the combination in this way, it also provides us lots of facilities to handle data management as well. Therefore, if we do the translation for the one-to-many relationship, we may combine the relations created for the departments with the managers, this entity and this relationship into a new relation. And we can also create one corresponding table for it, right? And this is why we propose to combine them together, since this manager information is like an attribute for the department, since it is a one-to-many, right? And let's come back to the slides. When we do the translation of the example we showed before, right? And we can do the translation in a normal way by creating 3 relations. However, we find some problems, right? Because we find that each department has one unique manager, and we could instead combine these managers and departments together, right? We can create a new table. It is called the department manager. In this way, we can create a new translation rule for these one-to-many relationships, and we can combine some sides, right? And how about this one-to-one? If we have a relationship which is one-to-one, how can we do the translation? If it is one-to-one, we can combine either side, right? We can combine either with the left side or the right-hand side, depends on you. Both sides will work for the one-to-one case. So here we have covered the translation rules for relationships, which are many-to-many, as well as one-to-many and one-to-one, right? Okay, next we will move to the organized states instead.